First, we flew from Turkey into Cairo and met up with our group for the week. On the first day, we went to the Egyptian Museum and saw a lot of cool Egyptian artifacts and mummies. After the museum, we took a van to the Great Pyramids. Anyway, although it was boiling out, seeing the pyramids was pretty cool, and we got to go inside with them too.
So here we are. We're inside a pyramid. Graffiti. Yeah.
After that, we took our tour van over to the Sphinx, where we also got a pretty good view of all three pyramids. After that, we went into this Papyrus Shop where I got this cool print that I plan to hang up in my dorm room when I get back. That night, we got on a train that took us from Cairo down to Aswan. It was roughly a 12-hour train ride down to Aswan, and we arrived the next morning. Because we weren't able to check into our hotel yet, we visited the Temple of Philae. Our guide for the week, Saeed, knew just about everything there is to know about ancient Egypt, so having him show us around the temple and all the other sites in Egypt definitely came in handy. On the way back to the hotel, we stopped to try this Egyptian dessert called Zalabia. It's basically a donut hole that they cover in either powdered sugar, honey, or chocolate. It was pretty neat to watch this guy hand make and fry them on the street. After enjoying some Zalabia, we tried to go to sleep as early as possible because we had to wake up the next morning at 4 a.m. My dad and Jack slept in, but my mom and I got in the van for 4 hours to take us to Abu Simbel. Abu Simbel is one of the other iconic spots in Egypt aside from the pyramids, but when we got there it wasn't that crowded, which was one of the benefits of waking up before the sun to get there. Right next to Abu Simbel was also the Temple of Nefertiti, which was equally as impressive and fun to walk around inside the temple. The next day we got on a Faluca boat, which is just basically a traditional Egyptian sailing boat, and it was covered in a large mattress with pillows. We brought all our stuff on with us and sailed across the Nile, and I'd love to tell you that it was a pleasant experience, but to tell the truth, it was not. There wasn't much to do or see, and it was ridiculously hot, so we just tried to sit as still as possible for 8 hours until the sun went down. It was actually nicer once the sun went down, but then the mosquitoes came out and we all got eaten alive, even with the amount of bug repellent we put on. We had to sleep on the boat overnight, but luckily we got to wake up before sunrise to get off. First thing that morning, we visited the Kamumbo Temple, which was built to honor the great Egyptian crocodile god. They also had a room with mummified crocodiles that we got to see. From there, we got back on our nice air-conditioned van and head towards Luxor, but first we stopped at Karnak Temple. This was super impressive because of these massive pillars that they had holding up the structure, as well as large obelisks. The next morning was another early one for the sole purpose of beating the heat. We drove from Luxor to the Valley of the Kings, where all the ancient Egyptian kings have their tombs. One of the best parts was that all the original colors perfectly preserved in the hieroglyphics on the wall because they were sealed in with a paste made from egg whites and honey. A short van ride from the Valley of the Kings was the Temple of Hatchipso. Our guide had so much information for us about this site, but if I'm being honest, my brain was so cooked from the heat that I can't remember much of what he said. didn't stay there for too long, and we were happy to get back into the air-conditioned van. On a serious note, I would not recommend coming to Egypt without a guide or a large group like we did. Many countries have street vendors trying to rip you off, but Egypt is a whole other level of scam. Vendors would corner us in the market and physically get in our way trying to sell us stuff. They were dishonest with prices and very pushy trying to make sales to the point that they would have people following us down the street to get us to buy the products. If it's worth it to you to visit, be very safe and cautious. You can be the most experienced traveler and still run into some really sketchy situations here no matter how careful you're being. If you want a more colorful review of the country, head over to my mom's blog to see what my dad had to say about our experience. That being said, the pyramids and temples were awesome, and the best part was meeting a great group of people. Thank you everyone for watching, and stay tuned to see what we did next in Jordan.